Drop my water. Good morning, everyone. I apologise in advance if I've gone live and I'm clashing with Bridget Parker. She was live before about the Photos Doulos, Jennifer Doulos case and the murder charges. And yeah, I apologise, honey bunny, if you're live now and I'm clashing with you, but I really wanted to go live about some stuff that I've been reading about this morning regarding the bushfires, and I've got a really busy day today. I've got a couple of meetings. I've also got to enrol for a course I'm doing this year, and I needed to get on with it. Good evening, Ruth. How is the evening in your part of the world? For the morning here, as you can see, it's pretty nice. But yeah, I just wanted to keep on with the Islands on Fire series that I'm doing about what's happening in Australia with the bushfires. And this morning I was finishing editing my podcast and uploaded it right down to the wire. Like, it goes live at 7:30, and I think it was finished, fully uploaded and finished at 7:20. And then I did a quick scan of the news, and my Twitter was going nuts about the Australian bushfires, which it has been, for weeks now. But in particular, I wanted to chat today on this little beach walk about the conspiracy theories that are going around regarding the fires. Hi, Kylie. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Windy and dark for you, Ruth. And yeah, it does look good in Tassie today. Just having a look now, scanning the sky. There's sort of over there, when we're down on the beach, it might be a bit clearer, but there's a little bit of smoke hovering, but nothing like the last few days. But we're sort of lucky. I mean, Tassie is burning. But yeah, when we're on the beach, it'll be clearer, but there is a little bit of smoke hanging around. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Can't complain. But we do have active fires here still, but none of them are really close to where I am. And I didn't do an update from the TFS this morning, so I can't really tell you where we're at. But the only one that was really problematic was the one up in Fingal in the northeast. Every other fire yesterday that I looked at is pretty much contained. But because we're on the east coast where I am, but down south we were getting a lot of smoke from the Fingal fire. It's been hot in Brizzy. Looks lovely there. It is lovely. It's very peaceful this morning. It's a bit later than I normally go for my walk, but that's because I was doing my podcast. Check out the surfers. There's heaps of surfers. There's actually quite a good little swell happening this morning, little break or whatever they call it. There's shitloads of surfers. Let's get down on the beach, because I want to talk about these friggin' conspiracy theories. And the really weird thing about it is The Australian has published a story only this morning using, well, from what I can gather, and it's all kind of unravelling as we speak, so things might have even changed since I left the house a few minutes ago. But the Australian newspaper, which is really reputable, has printed a story this morning saying that 183 people have been charged with arson regarding our fires. And I looked at so many different sources to find out, exactly what the story is. And the 183 people being charged with arson has been debunked. And yet, a newspaper that's considered to be our most reliable paper has printed a story. Oh, there's a little paddy melon I didn't get it. It's gone into the scrub. There's a little paddy melon on the path just then. How you doing? Good, thanks. Did you see the little paddy melon?
I heard it. I didn't see
it. It's cute as. Like your puppy. Hi, Lady Pegasus. Lady Pegasus might be able to provide any updates as they're going, because we've been chatting about it. Oh, no, we haven't. Tanny and I were this morning. But yeah, Kylie, no, the 183 people is not correct. There have been 183 people charged with offences relating to the fires, but they're not all arson charges, and that's pretty important that we get that debunked. 24 people have been charged with arson. Now, don't get me wrong, 24 is terrible. Particularly the kid in New South Wales, the volunteer fiery, who is responsible for lighting 7 fires in the Bega Valley, and then, going out with all the other fireys to put the fire out. So yeah, 24 fuckwits setting fire to Australia isn't great. But the 183 figure is, there have been 183 fire-related charges, and I'm just going to put my thongs, my flip-flops and my bottle of water down so I can actually get the accurate description. But essentially, from memory, over 50 of them were actually people who had ignored the total fire ban by having open flame barbecues, that sort of stuff, or fire pots. And hey Trisha, nice to see you in here. Where are their brains? They clearly don't have any. It's pretty bad. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, the 183 charges, the people that have been charged are all absolute, wankers. Gosh, it's gorgeous down here. I'm kind of bummed I've got a lot of meetings on, but hopefully I'll be done by mid-afternoon and I'll be able to come down here with my board, because check it out. Check it out. I know those waves don't look overly large to you guys, but when you're on a boogie board, those waves, even smaller waves than that, are big enough to pick you up and take you right into the shore. Let's go this way. We'll check out the surfers. You just Google paddy melons. They are really cute. They are really cute. And let's talk about the actual statistics at the moment, the latest on the fires. Yeah, it's now pretty horrible, having just seen a cute little paddy melon bouncing around. But the latest stats, I'll give those to you first, and then we'll start talking about the conspiracies. So at the moment, the death toll unfortunately stands at 24, but there are still a significant number of people missing. It's been confirmed now that we have reached 500 million native animals have perished. Or not, sorry, I shouldn't say native animals, because that figure includes livestock as well. And, sheep, cows, they were introduced to Australia. They're not native. Now it's been confirmed that over 1,700 homes have been lost. But I've got to remind everyone too, hey, these waves are awesome. They get bigger. Oh, these waves are wicked. I'll get dumped today. I love getting dumped. It makes me laugh. But you've got to remember too the positive stuff, like over 20,000 homes have been saved, and that statistic's a couple of days old, and it could be well in excess of that figure now. So kudos to our fireys for doing an incredible job. It is gorgeous down here, Trisha. This is my front yard. Aren't I lucky? So yeah, I mean, this won't be an hour and a half live. I just wanted to come down and let's chat about these conspiracy theories. I'm incredibly confused why the Australian has printed what is essentially now debunked bullshit in their paper this morning, on their website. It's mind-blowing. So basically what's happened is there's this massive misinformation campaign that's now being driven primarily on Twitter, but that's now obviously infiltrated other social media outlets and clearly newspapers as well. The Australian bushfires hashtag has been obviously trending for weeks now with the fires, but now the number of tweets with that hashtag are a mere drop in the ocean compared to the new hashtag that's going around, which is arson emergency. And that in itself is really worrying, because the Australian bushfires tag was essentially the primary hashtag to go to for all the latest news, warnings, updates, all that sort of stuff. But people are now going to arson emergency instead. And what was revealed in an article I read this morning in the Sydney Morning Herald is it's been driven basically by bots and trolls on Twitter. Tough new laws for throwing cigarette butts out of car windows start on the 17th of Jan. 5 points. Awesome. $11,000 fine. And will double in a fire ban. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And I was chatting to Tani earlier about the arsonists, and arson in most states of Australia. I don't know if she was just talking about WA or Australia generally, but she was saying they carry a 20-year sentence, and God, I hope they get it. I also hope the spirits of all the animals and humans who've lost their lives, and all the people who've lost their homes, haunt those fuckers till their dying day. But yeah, after what's happened in this country and the unbelievable devastation, I think there'll be a massive push from the public that anyone who's convicted gets the maximum. I certainly would be saying do it. What a bunch of scumbags. If they bloody catch them. Well, interestingly, Tricia, the latest story that's been flying around on the internet and being picked up even by reputable news sources is that 183 people have been charged with arson, and that's what we're chatting about now, because that's not actually correct. There have been 183 charges laid, but when you actually break it down, 24 people have been charged with arson. Now, don't get me wrong, that is still a fucking terrible statistic. 53 people have been charged. Well, there's been 53 charges of failing to comply with the total fire ban, and there's been 47 charges relating to people tossing a lit cigarette or match. So, yeah, well, Lady Pegasus, I think all the other states will follow suit, but I'm also delighted that this has happened in New South Wales, because your beautiful state's been the hardest hit, and the most horrific stats are coming out of your state, and I think a lot of the other states will follow suit. The problem too is, whether, I guess with you guys, it's been declared a state of emergency, which would warrant parliamentary sittings to push urgent legislation through, but I think in most states, Parliament doesn't resume until March, so I don't know whether there has to be like a declared state of emergency or state of disaster to bring forward a parliamentary sitting or not. But, God, there's some pretty cool waves happening. More surfers coming down to the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous down here today. And as usual, I figured if we're going to talk about crap shit that's happening in this country at the moment with the fires, we might as well have some soothing waves in the background. Yeah, I hope they rot in hell too, because it is murder. It's murder. It's genocide. It's, 24 people have lost their lives. There are still a lot of people missing. That figure's going to go up, unfortunately. We're only in early January. We've got months of hot weather to come. And all the native animals, I wish they would be considered, our citizens as well, because, 500 billion animals have burned to death. It makes me feel so sick. God, there's some pretty cool waves happening, guys. This is probably the biggest surf you have seen down here in the last week or two. It actually feels like a perfect summer day here today. Let's keep it that way. We've had no rain. I'm about to get my water tank refilled, just in case. Not that really having a full tank of water is going to be a great defence for my home if power goes out, because my generator is powered by electricity. So I'm also looking at getting a fuel generator as a backup. Yeah, the ocean's absolutely beautiful today, and I don't know if my camera's picking it up or not, my phone, but when the waves are cresting, when you're actually out in the water, it's probably more apparent, but the reflection on the water, it's just like the purest, cleanest water. It's so pretty. I mean, where I live got tidy town in 2018, I think it was now, for towns around the 3,000 population mark. But there's no litter on the beach. Someone commented on that one day when I was walking along. They're like, why aren't you stopping to pick up any litter? And it's like, because there isn't any to pick up. I mean, if there was, I would. But we've all got a rule of 3, which is if there is rubbish, you know, go for a stroll and take at least 3 pieces off the beach with you. But I have never, on a walk on this beach in over 5 years, found 3 pieces of rubbish. Never. Everyone's very good at taking their crap home with them. And we do have volunteers that come down here and sweep the beaches, like not with brooms, but, you know, sweep them for rubbish and so on. Fire management laws need to be seriously reviewed, absolutely. So let's chat about this whole conspiracy thing. So yeah, the hashtag arson emergency, do not consider that a reliable source if that is where you're looking on Twitter. I'm still really puzzled why the Australian has published those statistics when, you know, the Sydney Morning Herald was very quick to say it's a load of shit. BuzzFeed has even done an article about the bullshit being spread about the Australian bushfires, and we're going to chat about some of the things that that article brought up. You sound like a responsible smoker, Trish. Lady Pegasus, haven't smoked for 7 years. Always carried an Eclipse tin. Yep, me too. The Eclipse tins are actually deliberately made to be portable ashtrays. Did you know that? Because when they were first making them, the bigger and the smaller versions, they put out like limited edition versions for music festivals that were being held around Australia, to make people realise that you can have a packet of mints and a portable ashtray. And I mean, a lot of the music festivals hand out portable ashtrays too. They use the old film canisters, remember them from when we had cameras with film in it? The little black plastic containers with the grey plastic lids. A lot of music festivals hand those out, but most people take the Eclipse mints down and I just tip the mints into my purse, and then you've just got the little portable ashtray part. Genius idea. Okay, so back to the arson emergency shit, because I haven't got long, probably another 20 minutes, half an hour max, and we can have a bit of a chat at the end and now as well. But I am walking into the sun, so reading my screen is virtually impossible at the moment. I'm not wearing sunnies, I'm not wearing a hat. How about that? I want to dip my feet in the ocean, but I'm worried if I'm too close to the waves, you won't be able to hear me, but that could be a blessing as well. So yeah, in a nutshell, the hashtag arson emergency, ignore it. It has now been proven that it is primarily being utilised by bots and trolls who are using that hashtag to spread misinformation about the bushfires. And unfortunately, that hashtag is trending more now than the Australian bushfires hashtag, which is where you will find credible information. So, yeah, and it looks like, could be wrong, but it looks like the Australian has followed that hashtag, because they've published misinformation this morning, which we just covered, which is that 183 people have not been charged with arson in Australia because of the bushfires. There have been 24 people charged. There have been 53 people charged with failing to comply with a total fire ban, and another 47 who tossed a lit cigarette or match. Let's get on with the conspiracy theories. There's a shitload of them. If you want the comprehensive list, have a look at BuzzFeed. I think their article is actually headed all the bullshit about the Australian bushfires, something along those lines. But if you're into BuzzFeed, go there and check it out. And they have got some links to the actual statistics, but I think in comments somebody commented that it would have been better if they had heaps more, just so you could actually read the conspiracy theory and then go and see the truth. But let's just go through a few of them. So, arson emergency, the hashtag, is basically pushing that the fires, there's several things that they're saying, but one of them is that the fires were caused by the Greens and arsonists. And regarding the Greens, well, actually their main agenda is caused by climate change, the Greens and arsonists. So it's the last two of those three things that are the conspiracy theories. Hello, you're bossy. You're bossy. Bossy puppy. Look at your sibling all calm and zen. Mum's out having a boogie board. Hello, kitty. You're the zen one of the two, aren't you? Hi. Puppies. Puppies. Yeah, the Australian is usually a credible source, and that's why I'm a bit sort of surprised by all of this. Kylie. Hi, Gojo. Shame they can't pipe seawater inland for emergencies. Unsure what damage salt water could cause too, though. Yeah, I've got a feeling salt water is useless. Because, hey, we don't have a shortage of salt water. The salt would just be really problematic on already dry soil, I would have thought. But there's an article, if anyone follows me on Facebook, I put an article up the other day about a farmer in New South Wales who has utilised a different system of weirs, and it's actually kept his farm abundant during the drought, but also has provided like a fire barrier. So I hope that article trends, because people are coming up with, you know, good ideas that are working. And, you know, human beings, I don't know why we always feel like we have to reinvent the wheel. If somebody's come up with a good idea and it works, just do it. Call them, say, how'd you do it? And get on with it. I only learnt that in the last, I don't know, maybe 20 years of my life. The first 30, I was always reinventing the wheel, starting from scratch. But, you know, you go and see mentors and high-powered people speaking, and they're like, I worked out what to do, so ask me how to do it and I'll tell you. Don't waste your time trying to work out what took me 20 years to work out. I worked it out. It's working. Here's how you do it. So yeah, climate change is definitely a cause of the fires. There's no denying that, unless you're a denier, in which case you're a dickhead. And then there's also this hashtag arson emergency is saying that the Greens and the arsonists are responsible. So we've already talked about how it's not 183 people charged with arson. And in terms of the Greens, they've been accused of opposing hazard reduction burning in Australia, and that's why we're in the shit. But the Greens actually support it. So that one's easy to debunk. They're all for it. The Greens want to protect our environment, so they are going to support things that will essentially protect our environment, and reduction burning does actually protect our environment. So that one's been kicked out of the ballpark. We've talked about the stats of who's been charged with what, and yeah, I'm still kind of confused why the Australians even published these statistics, which have been not just debunked. I mean, they're just like, New South Wales is like, no, this is the record from the cops of the charges that have been laid. So yeah, why would the Australian be believing a hashtag on Twitter that's been run by trolls and bots? It's very confusing. And I just want to talk about another couple of ridiculous conspiracy theories that I saw in the BuzzFeed article. and then I'll turn around and look at chat, and we can have a little chat while I walk back to my track. So one of them was that the fires were actually started by the government to clear land to put in a railway. Don't you love conspiracy theories? Like, I actually do like some of them when they're kind of credible. But my God, what a source of comedy. So yeah, let's burn more land than the size of the country of Belgium to put in a railway system. Are you fucking kidding me? Another one, it's a deliberate attack by ISIS. Okay. There are some other things that have been debunked that I want to mention. So things that have gone a bit viral. You might have all seen in the last 24, 36 hours photos of fireys dancing with joy because it's raining. Slight problem there. Those photos are from 2018. And the other photos that were going viral that have got nothing to do with our current fires are two koala stories, baby koala stories. One is of a golden retriever who came home with a baby koala on its back, and the other one is a baby koala hugging its mother that's recovering on a surgery table in a vet surgery. Both of those photos were from 2015. Well, I know the one with the koala, the mother koala with the baby, that mother koala was actually hit by a car, and that baby koala photo, or the photo of the baby koala hugging its mum, and it's got a caption like, "I'll never let you go, mummy." That's from 2015. Not 100% sure, can't remember what date I read for the other one. But yeah, the golden retriever or the Labrador with the baby koala on its back, that's also not from these fires. And the other thing just to be aware of is the charities. So if anyone is wanting to donate, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I've got a birthday fundraiser to go to the rescue, the Wild Rescue Centre in New South Wales to help them rebuild, but also to cover the cost of all the animals that they're treating. If you're not a mate of mine on Facebook and you do want to donate, go to Scamwatch and they will point you in the direction of the verified charities. But their advice also is, make sure that if you're going to donate, that you verify whoever you're donating to. And they said the most likely scams are the crowdfunding ones, the GoFundMes and stuff like that. So be mindful of that. Bye, people leaving Tassie. We're gonna miss you. Okay, I'm going to turn around and walk back. And, the sun's... Okay, I'm going to hold the camera down a bit low and my gigantic head can block it out. Oh, Lady Pegasus, you thought the Eclipse Tins was your own brilliant idea. Well, you can take credit for it. Just be like the Australian and print a cover story based on bullshit. Hashtag, that was my idea. Yeah, just pretend you never heard me say it. Yeah, Kylie, the Australian usually is a credible source, but unfortunately it's proven, well, like I said, I gathered as much information as I could and scribbled it down. You're probably all getting used to my little strip of paper that I scribble my notes down to bring with me down to the beach. And I was horrified to see that's a headline from the Australian this morning. So, and I saw that after I had read quite a few different sources, including the Sydney Morning Herald, saying, no, that 180 plus people being charged with arson stories are a load of shit, and here's why. And you just have to jump onto Twitter to see how many people are going absolutely feral about the arson emergency hashtag. Like, it's churning, there's, sometimes when you go onto Twitter and it's a bit of a slow day, but on other days your screen's just reloading, refreshing, and it's just like a moving wall of stuff. that's what's happening this morning with this arson emergency thing. So I really don't know what the Australians up to. And if I've got something wrong, I'll eat my words. But as I walked out the door, there were a lot of reputable news sources saying the 183 charged with arson's bullshit. And one of the last things I saw before I walked out the door was the Australians headline. Go Joe. Oh, that's the seawater thing. Yep. Because we haven't burnt off in so long, it's all going to burn at some stage. Well, that's interesting too, Kylie. I mean, I know there's certainly information coming out that in some places there haven't been burn-offs, but we burn off here, and we still have massive bushfires. You know, there's only so much that those burn-offs can actually do in terms of containment. And if you've got like the fire we had here in Dunalley, just down the peninsula, well, the fire actually started where I'm walking and ended up down the end of the Tasman Peninsula, but they were fireballs that actually bounced. So where the backburning had been done, these balls of fire were just bouncing over them. But yeah, I mean, more hazard control burning. I mean, the other thing is too, the general public, a lot of the general public get really pissed off because they have to do the backburning heading into summer, which is when all the tourists start arriving, and a lot of people are like, stop doing the burn-offs. There's all this smoke and we've got tourists arriving. It's nothing like the smoke we're dealing with now, you dumb fucks. Trisha, I don't get the save the trees. Right, yeah, the backburning in Victoria as well. Karen H, hello, nice to see you. I see you have the same conspiracy theorists we have in the US, enough to drive you crazy. Absolutely, although some of them are really good for comedy material. Heaps of people down the beach just jog past me. I'm trying to keep people out of the shot. This is where Australia and US is different. I know when I'm watching an American YouTube channel, when people are like walking the streets filming people and everyone's coming up to the cameras going, hey, hey. And in Australia, people punch you in the face. I mean, they don't, but we don't like it. We don't care about our 15 seconds of fame on YouTube waving at a camera. So I try to be very respectful, although I did capture a couple of naked swimmers emerging from the ocean the other day. Quite accidentally, I might add, but... Lady Pegasus, we have 3 levels of government, federal, state and local, which is our councils, the local council. Oh, you might be explaining that to someone. Good on you. Oh, the ridiculous conspiracies, Trisha, I know. And if you jump onto BuzzFeed, there's more. I only wrote down a handful. I tried to choose the most ridiculous, and also I wanted to mention those photos that have been spread. And look, don't get me wrong. If people want to spread those photos of the baby koalas, go for it, because we've lost 5 billion animals, including a shitload of koalas. So if it warms people's heartstrings and it motivates them to donate to a charity or whatever, you know, I don't have a problem with it. I just wanted people to know. Oh, there's also another one that I saw on BuzzFeed, is a photo of a girl in a gas mask holding a koala, and it's a completely doctored photo. Totally doctored photo. So that one's, I don't know which douche lord got onto Photoshop and made that photo, but yeah, if you see a photo of a little girl holding a koala wearing a gas mask, her, not the koala, that photo's bullshit too. Lady Pegasus, a man in Queensland was fined $2 million last year for clearing fire breaks on his own land. Oh, that is ridiculous, I agree. But I think that you'll find, they're going to have to, you know, really look at this sort of fire regulation and so on and be realistic about it. I think big things are going to change in terms of our legislation, and penalties too for the criminals who started the fires, and the ones who ignored the total fire ban. They're fuckwits too, and the people flicking lit cigarettes and matches. I didn't even know people still used matches. I can't stand the smell of the sulphur off a match. Trisha, Twitter's a cesspool. I deleted it. Oh, see, I'm different. I love Twitter and I think Facebook's a cesspool. I've only still got Facebook because I created a group on there, and if I delete it, then 14,000 people are no longer going to be in a community I created over a decade ago. So, but I find Twitter much better because you can follow reputable news sources like Al Jazeera, and I'd much rather spend my time seeing what they've got to say about the world than see photos of what my friends have cooked for dinner. You know what I'm saying? And I think Facebook's really just a fight book now. Like, people on Facebook are really argumentative, whereas Twitter, you know, you can follow who you want, who you like. You can just follow reputable news sources. I certainly don't engage with a lot of people on Twitter, but I do go to Twitter for all of my credible news, which is again why I'm really weirded out about the Australian publishing that statistic, which is not correct, not accurate. And Twitter is alive saying anything with hashtag arson emergency is a load of hogwash. Nice ass, the jogger. Yeah, no, not really. I mean, he wasn't bad. Hey GLM, you beautiful girl. Lady Pegasus, the New South Wales Fire Commissioner, was on Sunrise TV this morning. He mentioned how people complained about the smoke from backburning last May and were forced to stop. Yeah, I know. Fuck that. Why do we pander to snowflakes? It pisses me off. Like, toughen the fuck up. Seriously, if I was a tourist and I flew into a country for the first time and there was smoke and I said to somebody, hey, what's with the smoke? And they said, oh, that's because we're backburning to prevent disastrous bushfires like the ones that happened in Australia in 2020, I'd be like, good on you guys. I'd put up with the bit of smoke knowing that they were trying to keep their country from, you know, being where Australia is right now. And historically we've been really good with backburning, but we're dealing with mega fires now. You know, the backburning has to be increased. And the penalties have to be dropped, and the bans, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, I personally do understand why the fireys are a little bit concerned about your average punter doing a bit of backburning. It's got to be properly regulated and done properly. But yeah, if I was a tourist in a country that had smoke because they were doing something to protect their environment, I would cope with the smoke. And also, here's another thing too, these friggin' snowflakes we pander to. Why are they the voice and the authority on people? Like, have a million tourists actually said to people, all the smoke sucks? Or have they just decided to be the spokesperson and they're just talking out of their asses? Do you know where I'm coming from? Because I see that shit on YouTube too. So many people in chat saying, you know, this creator knew this and they thought this and they thought that. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? Who appointed you the authority on other people's thoughts and knowledge? That's something that really annoys me about people, is that assumption that they know somebody. Because I love nothing more when someone is really mouthy like that on YouTube and then the creator comes on and goes, I didn't think that. It's like, yeah, back in your box, you opinionated twat waffle. Do you know what I mean? Kylie, we were fighting to burn off in national parks when I was 18. I don't think they've changed much. Trisha, I rarely check Facebook. I added relatives, so now I have to watch your mouth. Yes, you do. Oh, little smiley face from GLM, thank you. Yeah, Trisha, I'm with you. I think Facebook is a cesspit, but I'm okay with Twitter. You can kind of control Twitter better than you can Facebook. I've got some people that were on my Facebook feed that I knew if I removed them, there'd be all hell to pay. So I just did this thing now that you can do, which is where you basically say, I kind of had enough of these people, I'd like a break, and you can kind of switch them off for like 90 days. So they can still see your feed. They still know that they're your friend, but they don't know that you've snoozed them for 90 days. So you don't have to see any of their crap. I kind of like that. Hey, look, we all find our social media platforms. I mean, to give you an example, Lady Pegasus, I've got an Instagram account for my cat Biscuit, and the people on Instagram get my humour. They laugh along with it. There's a lot of people with chonky cats and pets on Instagram, and all the pet people are really friendly, and, you know, I can post something and they get that I'm being silly. But I publish a few of them over to Facebook, and on Facebook I get assholes going, oh, look at you, you've turned into a crazy cat lady. It's like, I think I need more than one cat for that, and all I did was rescue a 9-year-old overweight cat that nobody wanted to look after because I felt for her, and she's having the best time now. She's a happy little beach cat. She's losing weight. She lives in a great house. She loves falling asleep to the sound of the ocean. There's birds and possums and all sorts of critters that she can watch from her little enclosure. She's fucking awesome. Crazy cat lady, yeah. Shame on me for saving an animal that was probably looking down the, you know, barrel of euthanasia before too long. Fuckers. And then I jokingly just on Instagram one day just put up the definition of bite. You know how Urban Dictionary, well, it wasn't actually Urban Dictionary, but there was a dictionary, and the graphics and everything was so beautiful that I just put it on there as a bit of a joke, and with a bullshit caption saying, oh, this is what happened to me because I didn't feed her at 5 to 6 when her dinner's at 6. You know, one of those sort of animal shaming type things. And someone on Facebook was like, what you need to do is starve her for 2 days and let her learn, you know, not to bite the hand that feeds you, and you can ask any vet and they'll agree. Anyway, someone put an angry reaction understandably under that comment, and the guy who's in Canada was like, I don't know why this warranted an angry face. Vets will agree this is what you have to do. And I wrote back and said, that angry face was posted by a friend of mine who's a fucking vet. But yeah, I don't get it. Like on Instagram, everyone's peace, joy, love and happiness about fat cats, and on Facebook, you just get assholes. Gojo, shame it's not a conspiracy theory. The PM spent a large amount of money on PR rather than crucial stuff. Yeah, look, I don't know enough about that to comment. And also, I haven't got long left on the beach, and I'll leave the politics to another day. Don't get me wrong, I'm aware of some of the ScoMo stuff, but I chatted on, I was on Mel Mel's live last night, and we talked about it briefly because neither of us wanted to go into depth about politics, but you know, I'm not a supporter of ScoMo at all, but I don't know enough about that to comment. I'll have a look into it if I can be bothered. No, I can be bothered. I'm just more interested in getting home, having breakfast, going to my appointments, and then coming back down here and having a boogie board. Because check out the swell. But I will look into that, Gojo, for sure. I've moved on a bit, so I don't know who you're talking about with some of these comments. So if I move past you, don't be upset. I've just kind of lost where I was. Lady Pegasus, Australia is called the sunburnt country for a reason. So true. Trisha, unfollow their feed. Exactly. Kylie doesn't even know how to use Facebook. Good on you, Groover. Karen H, do you get people in parts of Australia not burning, saying that the fires are fake news? We get that in the US. No, look, there's fake news like the fact that 183 people have been charged with arson. That is confirmed fake news. 24 people have been charged with arson. That means there's still 24 fuckwits on Australian soil that set fire to our beautiful country. And, you know, one of them was a volunteer fiery who's been charged with 7 counts of arson. So when you look at the 24 charges of arson, 7 of those are one dude. I'm just getting my paper to check what I wrote. I'm not sure if it's 24 people have been charged or 24 charges. Just let me check this. Sorry, it is 24 people have been charged. Slight difference to 183. Where the 183 comes from is that there have been 53 charges of failing to comply with a total fire ban, and a 47 who tossed a lit cigarette or match, and then there's the 24 who have been charged with arson. So the fake news is unfortunately being published now because of this hashtag on Twitter called Arson Emergency, which is now getting more traction than the Australian bushfires hashtag, which is the reputable one to go to. And even one of our major newspapers, in fact the major newspaper in Australia, has published that 183 people have been charged with arson only this morning. Yay, Trisha's a crazy Papillon lady. Good on you. Yeah, people can be assholes for no reason. Biscuit is leading a life of luxury now. It's a fantastic life of luxury, Lady Pegasus. You are right. That happens a lot with volunteer fires. Yeah, it does. They've, unfortunately, a lot of arsonists put their hand up to be volunteer firers so they can set fire and then rock up and help put it out. They get off on it. I'm kind of tired of seeing articles about mental illness regarding arsonists, because it's actually a fetish, I think, not a mental illness. That's a bold statement. I probably need to do some more reading. But I keep seeing headlines about, mental illness once again, and it's like, can we stop blaming mental illness all the time? Because it actually takes away from people who have got legitimate mental illnesses. And for me, the arsonists that I used to act for when I was a lawyer, it was a sexual thing. They got off on it. It turned them on. It turned them on to start the fires, it turned them on to watch the destruction, and it turned them on to help put it out. And, why can't a sexual desire, an overwhelmingly strong one, why can't it just be seen for what it is? Why does it have to be bundled into mental illness? Because there's a shitload of fetishes that are fucking whack, right? But it doesn't mean everyone that's into having sex with soft toys, plushies, don't Google it, but that is a fetish. But they're not necessarily suffering from a mental illness. They're just wired to think that fucking a soft toy is a good thing to do. The people that dress up as babies, the adult men that dress up as babies, yeah, it's a bit whack, it's a bit crazy, but it doesn't mean everyone that does that's got depression or anxiety or another mental illness, bipolar or schizophrenia or whatever. They're just into something a little bit out of the norm. Unfortunately, some of the out of the norm things are just destructive, like arson. But it shits me that people keep bringing up the mental illness card, and I really think it takes away from the people who legitimately have got mental illness that we should be talking about and creating more awareness about. It's taking attention off them. That's just my opinion, and yeah, I could be wrong. Trisha has mental illness and doesn't do weird shit. Well, I developed debilitating anxiety last year for the first time in my life, and the only weird shit I do is go live on YouTube. Karen H, my sister's a paranoid schizophrenic. She wouldn't have the ability... Exactly! She wouldn't have the ability to plan setting fires. So yeah, if you do see people crapping on about mental illness, all these arsonists... I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe I need to do some reading on that too, but from my experience acting for arsonists and seeing the psychological reports and so on, there wasn't any mention of mental illness. And I'm not saying that there's no arsonist out there that doesn't have a type of mental illness. Of course there would be. But to say that all arsonists have mental illness is bullshit. It's like saying all people with mental illnesses are capable of being arsonists. It's bullshit. Alright, you got a couple more minutes and then I'm going to head up the dunes, because it looks to me like it's 9:38, so I've got to get home, eat some food, jump in the shower and head off to a couple of meetings. But I'm happy to sit here for another 5 minutes in case anyone's got a question or anything. And again, I really want to apologise to anyone that's gone live. I wasn't trying to compete with you. I really just wanted to get this stuff about the conspiracy theories out there and, have everyone spread the word a bit, because I'm just seeing those articles being shared all over social media. Even in Bridget's True Crime group, I put a comment under an article that had been shared in there saying 183 arsonists, just to clear the air and correct it, because, I mean, it sucks. It sucks that we've got scumbags in Australia that did it, but it sucks too that the world's seeing these articles and going, wow, there's 183 fuckwits in Australia who've just burnt half the country down and killed 500 million animals and I just want people to understand that that statistic isn't correct and that climate change is now sort of being pushed aside, and we should be talking about that. We should be talking about coal mining. We should be talking about backburning. You know, everyone's now going, oh, well, fuck Australia. Your own citizens did it. Why are we worried about you fuckers? You know what I mean? Dangerous shit. And again, I don't know why the Australians chosen to publish that this morning. It's blowing my mind. Trisha, looks like a gorgeous, glorious day there. What temp are you getting today? I didn't actually look at the weather before I came down. Lady Pegasus, can you Google that for me, honey? Instead of Googling plushies. I regret Googling plushies. Should not have Googled plushies. Oh, that was Ruth. Sorry. It is beautiful down here today. I think we'll probably be getting to something maybe in the mid to high 20s, but I could be wrong. I know that Thursday is going to be... Well, they said Thursday was going to be 29 a few days ago. That might have changed. 23 where Lady Pegasus is. Expected to reach 26. Hi, just me. You never get a notification. Honey, you've got to unsubscribe. Refresh the page. Resubscribe and hit the bell. Because that's happened to me so many times with channels that I used to follow. I've unsubbed from so many channels this year, but that fixed it. I'm just wrapping up too. So 26 for Trisha. Hassan, greetings from Ireland. Hello. Top of the morning to you. Sorry, that's such a cliche thing. Coming live to you from Tasmania, Australia. Nice to have you here, Hassan. 29 in Brizzy for Kylie with a top of 35. Already 29. Yeah, give it a crack, just me, because I think that's the YouTube glitch. I think that's the only way you can fix it. And make sure that you click the solid bell. A lot of people click the personalised bell, which I don't really know what that does. Seems pointless, and that's the default one. So make sure you do the solid bell above where it says all. Really cool to have you here though, Hassan. And I'm half Irish. I mean, I'm a 7th generation Australian, but half of my family are Irish, so I've got the dark hair, blue eyes thing of the Irish. I love that Irish gene is still really strong in our family. The, you know, almost black hair, and I mean, mine's not almost black, my dad's was, and then the piercing blue eyes. When I went to Ireland, people were like, you've come from Irish stock, because the dark hair, blue eye thing is very Irish, and you don't see it in many parts of the world. No worries, I'll do it after this. Good on you, Tanny. You're just me. So I'm not going to go until someone Googles the weather for me. I think it popped up actually while I was walking along the beach before, an alert. If I scroll this down, let's see. LinkedIn. Message from my friend. Daily inspiration. The trending podcast on Castbox, a tweet from Anthony Jeselnik. Oh, here's a headline that's popped up from The Guardian. The Australian Fires Live, sorry. I can't read my screen very well. As New South Wales and Victoria bushfires insurance bill tops 700 million. Holy shit. And that's the people that have got insurance. Got a horrible feeling that, you know, a lot of people won't. So it says, it's not giving me the full thing, it's just saying at the moment it's 18 on my beach, mostly sunny. Well, it's actually completely sunny. Originally from Morocco. How beautiful. I figured you might have been with your exotic name. See you around like a Russo, Kylie. Have a great day, gorgeous. Tori and the ACDC. Your temp's the same. Oh, I've got to go back and remember, see what you said. Hang on. I know I read it out before, but I read a few out. 26. Cool. That's nice. Although 26 here is because of a dry climate and the lack of an ozone layer. 26 here feels like 30 where you are, Lady Pegasus. That's a rule of thumb. Meteorologists say add 4 degrees. Whenever you're looking at Tassie's weather, always add 4 degrees because we've got the bitiest sun. Like, I popped down here last night and the sun had been behind cloud most of the day, and it came out and it was, I don't know what time it was. I think I got home at about 7 p.m. and the sun was so hot. And yesterday wasn't an overly hot day. Oh, 23 the max? Or 23? Oh, 23. I thought you said your max was 26. I'm confused. There's so many people walking on the beach now. Why wouldn't you be? Siri says 20 currently in Hobart with a top of 22. That's Hobart though. I'm down the coast and we are usually a little bit warmer than Hobart. Again, look, you can probably add 3 or 4 degrees. Hello. Hi. Hello. It's my dog now. No, see? Cute. I love Scotty dogs. Yeah, so where I am is, you need to Siri Carlton Beach or Dodgers Ferry, something like that. It's usually a bit warmer down this way. You stay safe too, Hassan. I know a lot of friends here moved to Australia. Yep, there's a lot of Irish in Australia, and quite a few Moroccans too. 23 max, okay. Tanny, I get you a top of 23, 13 at the moment. Well, see, that's wrong too, because I just looked at my weather and it's 18 at the moment where I am. Look, at the end of the day, it's somewhere in the 20s. It's already a beautiful day and it's going to be a gorgeous, fire-safe day here with all the surfers. God, there's so many out. Can't say I blame them. One of the best swells I've seen down here so far for this summer. Yeah, so welcome to anyone who watches the playback. That's really sweet of you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for everyone who's been in my live chat this morning. Apologies to Bridget if you went live again and I clashed with you. I'm really sorry. But I better head up the hill, wash my lady, chuck on some clothes, grab some more food and head out. But yeah, have a gorgeous day wherever you are. Have a beautiful evening and thanks for joining me, and stay groovy. And don't listen to the conspiracy theories. Or if you do hear or see something that makes you go, what? Check it out. Okay, everyone. Take care. Lots of love.